So hello everyone and welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Douglas Johnson and I am a yoga teacher, kirtan artist, meditation instructor. And if you're interested in spirituality and spiritual topics, you're in the right spot. Welcome back for probably what's going to be a short talk today because my camera is actually a few years old, and unfortunately the built-in rechargeable battery, which is not user replaceable, it's not easily replaceable, it is dying. So I don't know if you've noticed, but my talks have been getting shorter and shorter. And I don't know if you like long talks or not, but that kind of is the way that I usually present my information. I like to talk about a subject, kind of allow everything to come up, and then when I feel like I have said everything I need to say, that's it. It's kind of a stream of consciousness, if you will. So again, may not be your thing, but that's sort of the way that I present stuff here online. But because of the battery, I am generally forced to keep things short. So I picked a topic that I felt would be appropriate for that. Before I get into the topic, which is faith and ultimate faith, I want to thank my patrons on Patreon and everyone who helps support this work financially. You can do that by becoming a patron or by making a one-time donation, and you can see the links down below. But thank you to all of you who do support. If you don't want to make a financial contribution, you can also support by giving thumbs up, commenting, liking, subscribing, and sharing. And I do appreciate all of that as well. Okay, so ultimate faith. What is the sign of ultimate faith? Now, this comes up in spirituality. It also comes up in manifestation. So whether you're a manifester, someone interested in manifestation, or you're someone interested in spirituality. Now, this goes against what some people teach or encourage, especially those who are a little more on the materialistic side, and I don't mean that in a judgmental way. I just mean people who are a little more focused on science and evidence in what in manifestation we call the 3D. We call this the 3D, what our senses can perceive, what we can measure with science. And what I want to say about that is that has nothing to do with faith. That's really what we have to understand. I don't need faith to believe that this tombstone is here. Okay, it's here. It's physical. I can feel it. I can taste it. I can touch it. I don't need any faith for that. So if I'm making a 5-year plan and I'm creating all these things that I'm going to do, I don't need faith to hope that things will work out. Of course, things could still go awry, but in general, I'm not really relying on faith. I just am basically saying I'm going to take these actions. These actions will result in these effects. There's nothing faith-based about that. And again, I don't mean that as a judgment. I don't mean that that's the wrong thing to do or a bad thing to do. Go ahead, make a plan, execute that plan. But it has very little to do with faith. So from my perspective, faith is really just relying on the deeper self, the connected self. If you like the word God, you could use God. Some people, again, have less of a spiritual bent and more of a scientific bent. People like maybe Joe Dispenza or people who follow him, they may like thinking of it as the unconscious or the subconscious, which is, again, that may just be another word for what in older cultures they would call God or the divine, or have other names for that aspect of self. So basically, we have our faith, and the deepest expression of faith in my experience is doing nothing, being. It's a very profound statement that you make when you would like something to happen in the 3D, right? You would like some change to happen, but you consciously don't do anything to make it happen. Instead, the only thing you do is believe that it is taken care of, believe that it is done, or believe maybe that even if it doesn't come to pass, that this is somehow for the greatest good. And this is something I've been employing a lot personally lately, which is why I wanted to discuss it today. And I've just found it's not anything new to me. I've understood this concept for a long time. I've used it before. But like so many things in life, we might forget about certain things, or certain aspects may come to the forefront at various times in our life when we really need them. So this has been something that has come up a lot for me lately. Being and not doing anything. In fact, the word human being has the word being in it, right? It's not human doing. And I think this is very important, because I think as humans, we tend to focus a lot on the doing. What do I need to do to get what I want? What do I need to do to be who I want to be? And a very powerful practice is to, in a sense, believe that you're already perfect as you are, and believe that everything is unfolding exactly as it should, and not do a thing, because it's so tempting. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't take action, but the action is what we would call inspired action. Now, unfortunately, this is where I would probably talk quite a bit about inspired action and my experience of it. But until my new camera, which I have ordered a new camera that hopefully the battery will run for a longer period of time, until my new camera shows up, I probably will have to do that as a separate talk. But basically, the action doesn't come from the rational mind, the planning mind, the logical mind. So in other words, if you're taking logical action like, oh, I'm trying to grow my business, so I need to collect more emails, and I need to send more newsletters, and I need to improve my writing skills. Again, nothing wrong with doing any of that. Okay, nothing wrong. That would probably be really smart to do. Okay, nothing wrong with it. But that is not spiritual action. Okay. The spiritual will come from, the inspired action will come from not doing anything. And then you may take action that seems completely unrelated to your goals, like take a vacation, or visit some place that you wanted to visit, or call an old friend, who knows? You might take an action that you don't even think is related to what your goals are, and yet you might find that somehow that connects you with what you're wanting to do. Inspired action can also be related, but again, it tends to come up as inspiration and not as a logical plan. So again, if I'm sitting around and thinking and trying to figure things out, and then I have an idea, or I read a book, and in that book there's an idea, nothing wrong with it. And again, it may work, but that's not what we call inspired action. So inspired action, again, would come like an aha, right? And oh, all of a sudden you have this inspiration to take action. And again, in your mind, that may not even seem related to what you're doing. On the other hand, you may do nothing and have faith and find that it's all done for you, that no action is required on your part to achieve what you like to achieve. And this is, you could say, the gold standard in manifestation. You're just sort of living your life, and you have faith that what you would like to achieve is done. It's already achieved, maybe not in time, because time is linear, and it is basically an illusion that's created by our mind about future and past. And it seems like we're on this kind of linear time, moving through time, which is not really the way things are. So again, it's done, maybe not at this moment in terms of 3D manifestation. In other words, I can't see it with my senses, but again, this is the essence of faith. I can't see it, smell it, taste it, touch it. I cannot prove it in any way, and yet I know it to be true. I know it's already true. I know it's already done. So this is the ultimate expression of faith, is to do nothing to achieve your goals. And in my experience, it's a very powerful practice. It's a very powerful way to manifest things. And again, it flies in the face of logic, because our mind is going to say, well, if you want something, you have to go and get it. You have to take action. You have to do something. And again, makes perfect logical sense, and it'll probably work. But it again has nothing to do with spirituality, which is what we're here to discuss. That's what this channel is about. That's what I teach. So a very powerful thing you can try, and again, this is just something to play around with, a practice that you can try, is if you'd like to achieve something and it seems overwhelming and it seems like I have all these things that I need to do and oh my God, it's just too much, and you can try not doing a thing about it. And I will actually sometimes, when my mind gets like that, instead of doing something or taking some kind of action, I'll actually do yoga nidra or meditate or lay down and relax and just know that it is taken care of. And again, I'm sharing it with you because it's been extremely powerful and helpful in my own practice and experience. All right, so I'd love to hear from you. Do you have any experience with being rather than doing, and faith and having that manifest what you'd like? My battery is almost out, so I am going to wrap up here. Hopefully my new camera will be here next week and we can do a longer talk, longer walk together. I love sharing with you. Happy New Year, everybody. And until next time, namaste and have a beautiful day.